I literally had like one wish, and it was to break my arm so that I could get attention. And before any of you guys say how weird that is, I just know like I cannot be alone in this. Like there are other people out there who also recognize the wonders that breaking a bone would do for you socially. But anyway, one day in 6th grade PE class, I saw my opening. All right, we were doing this thing where we were passing the basketballs back and forth to each other, like be checking it against the ground. And my classmate Sabrina, she passed it to me, and it hit the tip of my finger, like right here. All right, and I decided, that's it, I'm injured. Did I say anything in the moment? No, because I was actually totally fine. But I did go home to my mom later, and I told her, I think I like messed up my finger. And my mom was like, wait, what happened? And I like tell her this whole story. Like it's very exaggerated, very dramatic. And she's like, oh, like maybe you like jammed your finger. Like your finger looks fine though. And I was like, I don't know, like it really hurts. And she was like, well, maybe it's broken. You think? That sucks. Wow, I didn't want to hear that at all. And like meanwhile, I'm like trying to hide my smile. And she was like, don't worry, we'll just like tape it up for the night. So she got a popsicle stick and she taped it to my finger with like a bunch of white medical tape. And I was like, ooh, it's kind of looking like a little baby cast. And I was like, mom, like the tape is like kind of like coming up at the bottom. Like I think I need more tape. And she was like, okay, if you think so. And so she put tape around the top part of my hand, like this part. All right, she put tape around this. And I was like, ooh, that feels so much better. Meanwhile, nothing was wrong. Nothing was wrong. Except for up here was wrong. And then when I woke up the next morning for school, she was like, is your finger any better? And I was like, it's really not. And she was like, oh, like maybe it is broken. And I was like, maybe. And I was like, I think I need a popsicle stick like to wear to school today. So I went to school that day with a popsicle stick taped to my middle finger. So I was constantly flipping people off. And I was like, this is awesome because it's going to give me exactly the attention I was looking for. And it honestly did. All right, I went to school and everyone was like, oh my God, you broke your finger? And I was like, maybe. Like, it's very sad, you guys. It's very painful, but I might have broken my finger. And everyone was desperate to sign my tape. Like, it was my dream come true. Like, even the cool guys in my class were signing my tape. And I was like, whoa, this is what it feels like to be popular. And then after school that day, my mom picked me up to take me to my little private clarinet lesson that I had because I used to play the clarinet. Anyway, and on the way there, I was like, I really can't play, Mom, with my finger taped up like this. Like, how am I supposed to play my clarinet? I was honestly hoping to get out of the lesson, but then she was like, well, if you can't take the tape off, then maybe your finger's broken and we have to go get an x-ray. And I was like, and she kind of just called my bluff at that point, and I took off the tape, and that was the last day that I had a broken finger.
Story time of when I realized that the way I grew up was not normal. I want to preface this by saying that I no longer blame my mother for the way I grew up. Well, a lot of therapy has gone into me the past 3 years. And I've realized that the way I grew up, my mother was just using the tools that she had to raise me like she was raised. And unfortunately, she had a very abusive past, just like I did. I grew up in a very chaotic household. There was a lot of yelling, a lot of cursing, a lot of hitting, a lot of spitting, dishes thrown, and mental abuse. So much mental and emotional abuse. There were times in high school that I would gather my things and my dog, and go stay with my best friend and her family. I didn't think I was gonna cry. So that I could avoid the line of fire at my house. Not to mention the boys I dated growing up had a lot of childhood trauma as well. One of my boyfriends and me kind of grew up together, traumatizing each other because that's what we knew. When me and my long-term boyfriend broke up, I met my now husband. And when I finally met his family, I was like, the jig is up. Where's the cameras? Where's Ashton? I don't believe any of this shit for a second. His parents weren't screaming at each other in front of company. They didn't seem to scream at each other ever. His dad seemed like he'd never heard a fly. I was like, false. And my husband could not understand the way I fought for the longest time. And by the way, I used to throw shit like DVD players and break them. Until the first holiday he spent at my house with my family. When one of my family members lost their cool and screamed at the top of their lungs for everyone to get out of the kitchen, my husband, my now husband, boyfriend then, was stunned. He was too stunned to speak. And I'll never forget that ride home. He was quiet for a while, and finally he said, I get it now. I'm like, you get what? He's like, I get why you scream and why you throw shit when you argue with me. I'm like, boy, I've been trying to tell you this whole damn time. Because if you didn't know, we're typically products of our environment. From that point on, I definitely had to work a lot on my anger management, but my husband gave me a little bit of grace. And I started to see more and more whenever I would visit his family that There is such thing as a calm environment for your family. His siblings didn't live in fight or flight like mine did. His father loved his kids. I even remember the first time I saw him loving on his daughters, I was like, what the fuck is this? Go to part 2.
Let's hear what you got.
All right. Well, these little...
Wrap it up.
God, it's so hard to be good for your age, and you know that your work's not good enough for the stage. You got the skills of an idiot who got too much praise, and your whole damn career just turned.
Is this magic? Like, are we freaking in magic right now? So did you not see the smoke that came out of my mouth? I'm a freaking dragon.
Go again. Maya, stop. It almost caught me.
It won't touch you. I have a magic shield covering your face.
And when I do it, it doesn't work. Look. So
I'm
your
sorry. I
your
have the
powers are stronger than mine
It's a
right
natural.
now.
Because you never learn a goddamn thing. You're just a with nothing to say.
Hoy te diré adiós, porque me di cuenta de que a pesar que tú eres parte esencial en mi vida, yo no formo parte de tus prioridades. No estoy seguro si me quisiste, pero a tu lado tuve los días más felices de mi existencia. Me despido de ti, porque ya no quiero hacerme daño con las ilusiones de que algún día volverás, y seamos felices de nuevo. La verdad es que si me sigues gustando, pero para que sigo intentando, solamente me quedo con tu sonrisa grabada en mi memoria, y en mi corazón que nunca te olvidará. Y por último, nunca diré que me arrepiento de haberte conocido, porque en algún momento de mi vida, fuiste exactamente lo que necesitaba. Adiós.
Oh my god, the best. I love her so much. She's my actual sister. She's so funny. I love that bitch so much.
What was that defining moment in your relationship where you're like, okay, I'm friends with you forever?
I mean, we've been through so much together. There have been times where, like, we'll be anxious or something, and I'll be like, bitch, let's go. I was like, we're cute as let's just nail this and get out of here. Like, let's go, you know? And, like, we've just been there for each other. Like, really, actually, like, on some real she'll reach out and blah, blah, blah. If she sees something going on, like, she'll, you know, we take care of each other.
It's cool.
It's super hard to find people like that.
Think I'd be able to survive jumping that?
I don't think so.
You want to join me?
I
I don't. I'm glad it's funny to you though.
Why am I an idiot?
No matter how many problems I had, I rather prefer to listen to yours to make you feel better.
You say that you love me. I just wish you came through. I don't want you for.
Quick little story time. I just need a vent because as a society, I think that we would be beyond this point, but clearly we are not. So I went out yesterday to go take photos for a brand. Bryce was helping me, and I'm standing there posing, doing all the things, and a group of girls walk by, and they just all start looking at each other and just laughing, you know. And I'm just like, in my mind, I'm like, we are at the point where everyone takes photos. Everyone takes photos. How do you think girls get the pictures onto social media? Just, how do you think that happens? And then the second thing that I was thinking was, if you're a girl's girl, you should be taking over that photo shoot. Like my fiance or like your partner or whatever, you know, they're trying their best to get all the angles and do all the things, but if you're a girl's girl, you know the angles. You know the angles, you know how to get the shot. So I'm just like, okay, walking by, laughing at me, you know, whenever I see other girls taking photos, I'm like, go you. I'm like, I'm proud of you. I'm out here, I'll support you. And I just think that it's so aged. Like, that's so old, and that's just like rude to be walking by and laughing like that. But anyways, photos turned out great, so I'm not mad about it. I just had to vent. I just had to vent and let it be known that we should not be laughing, we should be supporting, we should be taking over those photo shoots.
I don't think so. No, 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 no. I don't think so. No, 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 no. It's never, ever, 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 ever gonna happen. I don't think so. No, 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 no. I don't think so. No, 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 no. It's never, ever, 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 ever gonna happen. I don't
Having a traumatic childhood means you cannot talk even objectively about your basic foundational experiences without it being venting, even if you're not actually venting. You just straight up have a huge chunk of your life you can't talk about, full stop, without it being trauma dumping. And it not being socially acceptable to talk about your own childhood is super alienating. Sometimes people want to know why, and any answer you can give them is going to be off-putting. It's to the point I get irritated when something I said is framed as venting when I'm literally just talking about my life experiences, doing my best to keep emotion out of it. When I was in high school, I overheard two older students talking about a friend of theirs. One of them said something like, "It doesn't bother me that friend was in residential mental health treatment. I just wish they wouldn't talk about it all the time." The other replied, "Well, that was all of last year for them." So when they say, "When I was in treatment," it's like when you say, "last year." I try to remember that anytime someone says something that sounds shocking to me. Sometimes one person's scary special crisis is another person's last year.
And the only thing I want was being alone.